Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. If you're a focused learner gearing up for the Microsoft DP-700 certification, well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're taking those dry, technical exam requirements and transforming them into a real-world hero's journey. We're going to master how to actually implement data engineering solutions using Microsoft Fabric, and we'll do it by walking step by step through the Contoso LTD case study. Think of Contoso as our ultimate training ground. By solving their complex, messy data problems, you're going to build the exact mental models you need to absolutely ace this exam. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. 1. Meet Contoso's challenge. 2. The medallion architecture. 3. Choosing tools. 4. Securing layers. 5. Optimizing performance. And finally, 6. Deployment pipelines. Section 1. Meet Contoso's data challenge, unifying a fragmented environment. So picture this. Contoso is this massive online retail company, and they are in an absolute race to modernize their marketing analytics. Right now, their VP is waiting a full week for campaign reports. A week. And they need that slashed down to under a day. But look at the sheer mess of data they're dealing with. It's literally everywhere. They've got a point-of-sale system locked away inside a private virtual network. Then, there's a SaaS marketing app that requires hitting 7 completely different REST API endpoints. Oh, and all their historical data? It's just sitting in these massive Parquet files, some of them up to 900 megabytes, scattered across Amazon S3 buckets. Connecting all these disconnected dots? That is the core challenge of the DP-700 exam. Now, a major hurdle in this scenario is figuring out how to bridge the gap between Amazon Web Services and Microsoft Fabric. The exam specifically points out that when Contoso goes to access those historical S3 files, they absolutely must minimize the egress costs associated with cross-cloud data access. And here's the kicker. They are strictly forbidden from saving a raw copy of that data inside their new Fabric Lakehouses. So they have to be super smart about how they query it, without redundantly moving these massive files around and racking up a huge bill. Section 2. The medallion architecture, from raw to ready. So how do we structure all this chaotic data once we get it into Microsoft Fabric? We use the gold standard, the medallion architecture. It essentially relies on the rule of 3, bronze, silver, and gold. First up, data lands in the bronze layer in its rawest, most unfiltered form. Next, it gets pushed to the silver layer for some heavy-duty cleansing. And finally, it arrives in the gold layer as a beautifully refined dimensional model that's entirely ready for reporting. Now, a major requirement for Contoso, and honestly a key detail you need to memorize for the exam, is that each layer must be fully populated before the pipeline can even think about moving on to the next one. There is absolutely no skipping steps here. So the crucial point here is understanding exactly what happens, and maybe more importantly, what doesn't happen in each layer. The exam is absolutely going to try to trick you on this. For the bronze layer, the data has to land exactly as it was ingested, just formatted as delta tables. No transformations are allowed before it hits bronze. None. Well, aside from basic file format changes, of course. All the heavy lifting, stuff like deduplication, handling missing values, standardizing capitalization, that is strictly reserved for the silver layer. Section 3. Choosing the right tools, engineering the solution. Fabric has a massive ecosystem of tools, so let's figure out how to pick the right ones for Contoso. Let's put on our test-taking mindset for a second. Remember how Contoso has that point-of-sale system completely locked down on an on-premises SQL server, and they need to copy that data directly into a Fabric warehouse? What specific Fabric item would you use to make that happen? If you guessed a data pipeline, you hit the nail on the head. A data pipeline is the absolute perfect bridge for the scenario. It functions a lot like Azure Data Factory, meaning it allows you to use a self-hosted integrated runtime via an on-premises data gateway. Basically, this securely punches a hole right through that private network, grabs the SQL data, and safely lands it straight into the cloud warehouse. Okay, let's try another tricky scenario straight from the exam material. Let's say you've got semi-structured data that is constantly being written by Apache Spark, but you need a storage solution that natively supports being queried by T-SQL, Kusto query language, and Spark, all at the exact same time. What do you use? The correct tool for this job is an event house. Now, I know a Lakehouse might be your default thought here, but an event house is specifically designed from the ground up for real-time ingestion, streaming data, and high-frequency events. It seamlessly integrates those T-SQL, KQL, and Spark query capabilities together, which makes it the absolute perfect engine for high-velocity, semi-structured telemetry or event data. Section 4. Securing the data layers, balancing access and protection. Okay, so here is a classic data engineering tug of war. The engineers, they need access to absolutely everything to do their jobs. But the analysts, they really shouldn't be basing their reports on unverified raw data. So the principle of least privilege is absolutely required here. The data engineers group needs read and write access across all the lakehouses, bronze, silver, and gold. However, the data analysts group, they must have read-only access, and it has to be strictly limited to the gold layer. They cannot be allowed to peek into the bronze or silver layers under any circumstances. So how do we give the analyst exactly what they need without giving away the farm? You share just the gold lakehouse with them, and you grant a very specific permission called Read All SQL Endpoint Data. And this is brilliantly illustrating a key Fabric concept. You must intentionally avoid assigning them a general viewer role on the entire workspace. Why? Because that would immediately violate your security requirements by exposing all that raw bronze and silver data. But wait, what about securing the data from the engineers themselves? Contoso has these employee tables that contain highly sensitive, personally identifiable information, or PII. Now, the engineers obviously need a contributor role to manage the workspace, but they definitely shouldn't be seeing everyone's PII. The correct exam solution here is physical isolation. You literally have to migrate that specific PII table into an entirely new workspace and lakehouse where those engineers have zero access whatsoever. Section 5. Optimizing Fabric performance. Taming massive data. Right, so let's talk scale, because this always becomes a problem eventually. To put this into perspective, Contoso's single fact table has completely ballooned to over 500 million rows in just the past year. 500 million rows. Because of this massive growth, their Power BI Direct Lake reports, the ones showing year-over-year values, are seriously degrading in performance, and some visuals are outright throwing errors. We need to get the absolute best query performance possible while obviously keeping operational costs down. And the ultimate magic bullet for this in Microsoft Fabric is enabling something called V-Order. V-Order is this proprietary write-time optimization that gets applied directly to the physical layout of your Delta tables. By organizing the data way more efficiently on the disk itself, it drastically improves columnar compression and scan efficiency. And what does that mean for us? It directly translates to lightning-fast Power BI Direct Lake reports and noticeably reduced compute costs. It's a total win-win. We also need to optimize the engineering experience itself. Standard notebooks operate in isolated Spark sessions. You know what that means? Spin-up time and totally wasted resources if you have multiple engineers working at the exact same time. But by enabling high concurrency for notebooks, multiple notebooks can seamlessly attach to and share the exact same Apache Spark session. This is a total game changer for team collaboration and resource efficiency. Section 6. Deployment and CI/CD pipelines, moving to production. All right, we've built the architecture, we've secured it, and we've optimized it. Now, Contoso actually needs to safely deploy these changes from their development workspace into their test and production environments. So here is a critical infrastructure question you are almost guaranteed to see. Let's say you're automating a Fabric deployment pipeline by triggering it via an API call directly from an Azure DevOps pipeline. What specific type of authentication must you use to bridge those two systems securely? You must use a service principal for that API authentication. Now, what's really interesting about how Fabric handles different objects during deployment is the variation. For example, Dataflow Gen 1 items deploy fully, configurations and all. But semantic models, they only deploy their structural metadata. The actual data doesn't move with it, meaning you've got to refresh it in the target stage. And crucially, don't forget this, scheduled refresh policies do not deploy at all. You have to manually recreate those in your test or production environments. And just like that, we've untangled Contoso's massive data mass, build out a secure, fully optimized medallion architecture, and push the whole thing to production. Ultimately, understanding the why behind these Fabric features is exactly what separates passing from failing. So take a step back, look over the core concepts we've structured today, trust the preparation you've put in, and ask yourself, are you ready to tackle the DP-700?